Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I begin by acknowledging that we gather today on Kumara land of the Katikal clan of Eora Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, and we pay our respects to the elders, past and present. I want to thank the PNG Co. Chamber of Resources and Energy for giving this opportunity for the Department of Petroleum and Energy to present. I'm actually presenting on behalf of Secretary David Manau, who is unable to attend this conference because of circumstances beyond his control. I will be providing some insights into the industry, which we have observed globally and regionally, and give a summary of previous, current status, and events in the oil and gas industry in PNG. Then I will give some hints on what we plan to achieve along with the government's visions and aspirations. Population growth, developing countries and emerging economies have and will drive demand for energy for many decades to come, especially so in the Asia-Pacific region. Climate change goals and targets are moving countries away from fossil fuels and focus more on renewables and cleaner sources of energy, such as gas. However, the crisis in Ukraine have put a strain on energy supply in Europe, and energy security started taking dominance. The world will always strive to balance out the welfare of the planet and its population's needs of natural resources to sustain and further our economic aspirations and way of life. Adaptation and mitigation strategies have to ensure in all energy development projects. Technologies such as carbon capture and storage, or carbon capture usage and storage, are now gaining momentum in oil and gas projects and other industries. The upcoming Papua LNG is proposing to utilize the technology, and it's welcoming to hear of such initiative. This slide summarizes the current footprint of the petroleum projects in the country. Just to give you an overview, all producing oil and gas fields are in what we call the Papuan Basin, stretching from the northwest highlands and the hinterlands to the southeast, to the coast, and down towards the Gulf of Papua also. From the southern highlands, the Kutubu, the Gobe, and the Moran fields, with facilities and pipeline down to the Kumul Marine Terminal in the Gulf of Papua. Just northwest from Kutubu, the Heights gas field is currently producing gas for the PNG LNG project. The gas pipeline brings it down to the Kopi landfall in the Gulf province and goes underwater to Coastal Bay just outside the Port Moresby, where the PNG LNG plant and the export facilities are located. The upcoming Papua LNG project will extract gas from the Antelope and gas fields in the hinterlands of Gulf province, and it's proposed to come down to the coast and also utilize the current PNG LNG plant and facilities. The Piniang gas field, which will underpin the Piniang LNG project, is further northwest of the Heights gas field in the western province. Other small gas discoveries have been made in the Papuan Basin, and most licenses and activities are concentrated in this part of the country. This current petroleum license map shows what the current licenses we have. We have 5 types of licenses. As can be seen, the yellow shade are applications for petroleum prospecting licenses that are pending review and decision. The blue polygons are current petroleum prospecting licenses. The green shaded are petroleum retention licenses covering gas discoveries and fields. They are mainly retained for commercial and development studies. The red shade are current oil and gas fields under the petroleum development license. As mentioned before, most activities are focused in the southern part of the country. There are 5 producing oil fields, but they are depleting. Current average oil production for Papua New Guinea is around 13,000 barrels of oil per day. We have one producing gas field, which is Heights in PDL7 for the PNG LNG, along with associated gas from the oil fields. Heights PDL1 is the gas to electricity for Pokhara mine, which is currently on hold pending resumption. May I make note of the turnaround time for the oil and gas projects from the discovery to development and first production. Oil in Kutubu oil fields was discovered in 1987 and was brought to its first production first commercial production in 1992, a turnaround time of 8 years. The 6 trillion cubic feet gas field up in the Heights was discovered in 1987 in the highlands of Papua New Guinea, some 500 kilometers from the coastline. The field was developed in 2010 and first commercial production in 2014. A turnaround time of around 23 to 27 years. The elk and the antelope gas fields were discovered in 2006 and 2007 and is now on the verge of being developed with the first production anticipated in 2028. This is a turnaround time of about 20 years. Now, what does this mean? Maybe the markets for gas LNG is more matured in the past decade and now than never before. Hence, it took that long from discovery to production. Or maybe the lack of infrastructure to commercialize such resources. Interpretations may vary, but with that trend, in order to sustain the world's energy needs in gas in the next 10 to 20 years, we need real exploration efforts and discoveries 5 to 10 years ago. PNG is not like 20 years ago. We now have world-class gas LNG projects operating and soon to be operating. The existing infrastructure access to market can assist to shorten the turnaround time for any gas discoveries that are forthcoming through active exploration. Exploration has declined in PNG since 2015 due to the oil price crash, and even further when COVID-19 pandemic hit in 2020. I would like to think we are on the rebound post-COVID-19. However, it is not showing. We have been working on some strategies to boost exploration activities that we will make public in the coming year. In the meantime, we have open aggregates for interested genuine explorers and investors. We have information, and our heads of the exploration brands and the registered brands are around. Please have some time to spend some time with them and collect information of them. As Minister Karengakua mentioned earlier, we are excited about work done by Peak Oil, which is doing up in the New Island Basin, which is a frontier basin. They hope to drill sometime 2 years from now, and these are opportunities for synergies where some maybe Larus can think about those synergies because the drilling times are around the same time. So. Pipelines and processing facilities are tied with existing and upcoming PNG LNG project. Pipelines and processing facilities are tied with existing and upcoming Papua LNG project. We have only one commercial oil refinery in PNG based outside of Port Moresby at Napa Napa. It has a capacity to process up to 35,500 barrels of oil per day. The refinery came into first production in 2004. The aim was to process the oil from Kutubu and supply the domestic market. Oil was producing from Kutubu and surrounding fields over 100,000 barrels per day in the 1990s. It has now declined to less than 20,000 barrels per day. Our regulatory framework. The primary legislations and regulations are the Oil and Gas Act 1998 as amended and the Oil and Gas Regulation 2002. Policies we have in place, the most recent Petroleum Sector National Content Policy 2023. We have the Co-Petroleum Regulating Agency, which is the Department of Petroleum and Energy. The Energy Division separated into a new entity, the National Energy Authority, with focus on renewables, energy, and electrification. The Petroleum Division now focuses on the hydrocarbon sector in licensing, regulating, administrating the Oil and Gas Act and the regulation and the policies. Currently, both Department of Petroleum and NEA come under the Ministry of Petroleum and Energy, which Honorable Karinga Kua is the Minister. Papua New Guinea has one of the most lucrative and robust fiscal systems in the world and in the region in terms of oil and gas. Sometimes our disadvantage, I might say. We have 2% royalty per head value, one of the lowest in the world. Australia and Indonesia, our immediate neighbors, and petroleum producing countries have royalty in the range of 10 to 20%. We even give tax concessions. Any investor that spends money on exploration and development, and if successful with commercial discovery and development, they get their dollars back through tax deductibles amortized over the life of the project. Our fiscal regime is nothing but attractive for real investors and players in the industry. Start moving. Sorry. Wow. Without climate change initiatives and its effect on financing fossil fuel activities, renewables will still take decades to match up to fossil fuel as the dominant energy source. Meanwhile, geopolitics and crises that threaten energy security makes countries to overlook climate change policies. In PNG, our main challenge are lack of infrastructure and the high cost of exploration and development that comes with it. The energy demand especially in the Asia-Pacific region, is a challenge, but at the same time, opportunity for investment in this space. The oil and gas-rich Southeast Asian countries have always been major exporters of oil and LNG. However, in recent times, with the growing domestic demand, they are now becoming more independent on energy imports. PNG lies strategic and underexplored to potentially supply the region with energy resources, especially gas. Quickly, upcoming projects. We have the March talked about the Papua LNG production, foreseen to be at 2028 at 6 million tons per annum. We have the Pinyang LNG plant for production in 2032. We anticipate 3 million tons per annum. Together with PNG LNG project, total LNG production is anticipated to be around 15 million tons per annum in 2032, with potential upsides. Sub-commercial discoveries, gas fields. We have aggregation and commercialization of marginal gas fields to piggyback on the existing and upcoming mega projects, infrastructure and markets. Also for domestic market commercialization options. Exploration is opening to synergize exploration in the Papuan Basin, the Gulf of Papua and the northern basins with focus offshore. In the downstream, we need to develop policies and regulatory framework as per the government's medium-term development plan number 4, 2023. Work on policy extra on downstream processing. And in conclusion, the department says the government's vision, and we are willing to implement the policies to achieve the set targets and goals in the petroleum sector. Papua New Guinea has potential to be the next petroleum and energy hub of the Asia-Pacific region. We aspire to make and facilitate more exploration and discoveries and supply of the regions and our domestic energy and petrochemical needs for the decades to come. We aim for all developments in this sector to be sustainable, embracing climate change mitigation factors and set targets with minimal environmental footprint. The government's targets are to achieve 70% access to electricity in PNG and 100% renewable energy by 2050. We invite all genuine investors to come to PNG and help us develop our energy industry. Thank you, Patahere.